ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between. This campaign is set in the dark and mythic north, and some subjects may be quite triggering to some people. Thank you.
The difficulty in working in being able to see things that others can't is that you learn to trust your sight. You encounter strange things on a daily basis. You learn to trust what you can see and notice the telltale signs of the land of myth and legend converging with the day-to-day. But in a world of creatures that only appear when they choose to reveal themselves, and people whose motives are a hand of cards kept close to the chest until the jaws of the trap shut, who can say for sure what they can trust? It is with this in mind that we once again join our Thursday's children as they stand on the abandoned shores of Vreta Island. A chapel behind them, its spire stretching up towards the careless clouds above. In front of them, the endless ocean stretching back towards the mainland. The docks stretching out hopelessly into that void. And then, on that ocean, bobbing gently away, 15 feet, 20 feet, 25, is the boat that got them here, slowly drifting away from them.
We don't have time to look after the boat. Come on, let's find someplace. There must be a house here that has something in it.
This is
Dagmar, I told you, every time you run off, something will happen.
Something does happen. I find some gold or something exciting happens. This doesn't happen. Oh God, it's still bleeding. Oh God. What did we do?
Johan, can you check that building over there?
I am on it. I will be right back after I check the building.
Okay. Are you heading back towards the chapel, Johan?
Yes.
Okay. As you head back into the doors of the stonework building, you once again smell that foul scent of something putrid and rotting that has been abandoned for a very, very long time. And you see from where Dagmar kicked out before in her pain at having this shard of glass shoved through her arm for when she was trying to reach through the window. You see that she kicked the altar and dislodged something, and that from behind the altar is now little specks of something rotting scattered across the floor.
What in the world is happening? You know, at first glance, this place was actually pretty dope, and now this is kind of weird. And I have regrets coming in here alone because, you know, I feel like nothing good tends to happen when you're on your own, but I'm sure it'll be fine. What fell in the first place. I'm gonna go check out the smell of that rotting whatever that is.
Okay. You walk forward into the church, and once again, you are struck by the sheer beauty of this place. There is the stained glass windows with the chalices and the blood drops that seem to get fuller and fuller as you reach the back of the church. And then that shattered window at the very back, the fifth window, which is completely undiscernible because it's completely broken. But below it, you see a basket that has been rolled onto its side from the impact. And what was inside it were loaves of bread and fish that have now rotted into almost complete soil at this point. They are almost indiscernible as what they used to be. The only reason you can really tell at all is you can see a hint of a crust amongst the mold that cakes it. You can see a hint of a fin amongst the gutted body of the fish. Hints of bone.
Well, I did see a bread funeral recently, so I'm not sure if that's still on the table or not. But this is actually pretty gross. And was someone in? Did I just drop that? I'm so confused. Like, who would just leave some perfectly good fish here? I would have thrown down like immediately, honestly. But that's just me. I would never let food go to waste. But if this just is kind of laying around here, I wonder if, like, did someone drop it? Did someone leave it? Are there people nearby? Or maybe someone was just kind of like going off like a really random picnic and decided to just be like, you know what? Oh, we gotta go. Oh, dropping my bath. There's a lot of different things that could have played out here. But wait a minute. My friend's bleeding out. I have to hurry this up. I can't. Is there anything in here I can use to help my friend that is currently bleeding out?
Roll me, because you are thinking on your feet here and you're thinking specifically of the people around you, let's have you roll some empathy and some observation, please, Johan.
Okay. Two successes.
2 successes, fantastic.
Telling me.
As you're looking around this place, something more catches your eye, something that you didn't see prior. You notice that along the walls of this place of worship, you assume, just above each window, there is a small shield within which there is a woman in side profile. She is wreathed by ivy and holding a bunch of wildflowers. In addition to that, there is almost a feeling of something else here. It's light and unoppressive. It feels like there is a presence in this area. Like someone was here very recently, but no longer is. It's kind of like walking into your own bedroom to see things moved ever so slightly to the left. It's kind of uncanny. And there's no sign of anyone here, per se, but you know that there was passage through here recently.
I feel like if someone has been here recently, then we should probably get going because it feels like it like just happened. I don't know. I could be wrong though. But like, also, I'm not an herbalist. Like, could I grab the flowers? Maybe the flowers could do something. I'm gonna go and grab the flowers that I'm looking at because it seems to be the only like alive thing here. So I'm gonna grab the flowers. Why not?
Sure. You go over and you reach up. It's almost like there's this stonework carved figure, and sort of clutched in her hands, almost like a makeshift vase, are these wildflowers that she's holding. You manage to reach up and you pluck several of them. As you're doing so, something else falls loose. There's a small bundle of white, like wrapping. It's not ribbon, it's nowhere near as nice, but it's certainly some sort of linen. It's quite clean, but it was used to tie the flowers together and keep them in a nice shapely bundle.
How about that? This is awesome. Oh my gosh. You know what? I need to go now. I'm going to try, and maybe this could help, slow the bleeding down, or at least fix the problem for a little bit. All right, I'm going to go back to the group ASAP. We have to go now.
Okay, we will leave you for a moment then, Johan, as you run back to the group and check in with the others. Hello, everyone. It's as you're standing there waiting for the return of Johan, Dagmar, you're nursing that really nasty cut in your arm. It's smarting significantly. You don't think you're going to bleed out or anything through it, but it's not pleasant. And you know enough about wounds to know that if left unchecked, it could be a problem. And it's as you're all sort of having a low conversation outside of this chapel that you hear a loud cracking noise back from where the boat just drifted away. The sound of breaking, the sound of something being torn asunder by a sudden force. And as you look over to where the boat just drifted away, you see it. The sturdy, industry-ready rowboat with its thick oak planks and steel reinforcements has been utterly torn asunder, split clean down the middle. Splintering wood shrapnel and newly created driftwood floats around the wreck as the two halves begin to sink beneath the hungry waves.
Boat? That was my boat! Oh, God damn it. All right, okay, no boat. Owie arm. And that's when Dagmar looks down and realizes that she hasn't actually tried to do anything with the arm herself. And it's like, okay, inspiration juice, and grabs her flask painfully, kind of has to use one arm. All right, and she tries to pull the shard out of her arm herself.
Oof, okay. I will remind you that the shard is gone. Astrid and Johan did manage to pull it out. It just wasn't pleasant.
She tries to wrap her own stuff and tries to do some sort of whatever goes as medic stuff for Dagmar, which is most likely just wrapping something around it and wishing for the best.
Sure, let's have you make a logic and medicine roll.
All right. Okay. Dang it.
Nothing?
Oh, it doesn't work. It keeps slipping off.
It does. Unfortunately, even as you've attended sort of minor wounds before, you're no stranger to having cuts and bruises from your various escapades, but this is certainly not something that you usually get yourself into. You're usually quick enough to avoid this sort of thing. So as you're trying to wrap this around your arm, you get frustrated with how the coagulated blood is making it actually more difficult to get it to sort of adhere, and it's just not working. And it's as you sort of grunt in frustration that Johan makes his way back to the group, triumphantly holding a bunch of wildflowers and a piece of white linen.
Guys, you're not going to believe this. I went to go grab some flowers. I'm not even 100% sure why I grabbed them. I thought maybe you could use them for medical stuff. I don't know. But some linen stuff that I've seen people use in repair thingy. You can use this probably to help, at least slow the bleeding down at the very least. So we should give this a shot.
Yes, of course. Well done, Johan. Let us move back into the building, though. Yes, somewhere we can sit, of course.
Okay. You will move back into the small sort of chapel building. Easy enough. There are pews laid out and places to take a pew.
Are we not going to talk about the fact that the water just ate the boat, by the way? And I offer up my arm to anybody who's willing to take a shot at
Johan, if you would give me the linen.
All yours, man. You're probably more qualified than I am.
Maya, did you see anything? And is asking as she tries to, now with proper cloth, stem the bleeding.
You're a very educated woman, Astrid. I will ask you to roll me your logic, please, and your medicine.
one success.
One success is enough. As you tie these linens around Astrid's, around Dagmar's arm, you are sort of recalling the knowledge that you've gained over your lifetime and the scrapes that you've seen many younger people get themselves into, especially as part of the society. Over the years, you've had many people come to the castle with various injuries that they've sustained in dealing with Vaesen, and you've had to deal with them. You've learned how to handle situations like this, and Dagmar, in relatively short order, Astrid manages to tie it so that it stems the bleeding. And Astrid, as you survey your work, you think those bandages are going to hold relatively well. Dagmar, please take back that physical condition we gave you last time.
All right.
Dagmar, you have to be more careful when you're reaching for things.
I am always careful. It's the things that stab me that aren't careful.
The window
All
reached
right.
out and stabbed you. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it did.
I'm sorry, Maya. Did you see anything?
I could not see anything, if I'm honest. It looked like the waters awoke and almost devoured the boat. But I have no idea what could have done that. If I'm
Monsters.
honest, that's a possibility. Or maybe the waters were just a little bit hungry, perhaps.
For a boat, waters are hungry. The boat is the thing that carries us. So if the water is hungry for a boat, that means it's hungry for us.
Perhaps,
I don't want to be water food.
But perhaps the winds took us here for a reason.
Well,
there must
we
be
sure
more
as-
for us to look.
We sure as hell can't leave. We don't have a boat.
I feel like at this point, Maya is surveying the surroundings, almost looking for an answer, hoping that the dust in the air and maybe the winds blowing through the door might project them to some sort of conclusion of something that may speak within Maya's very being.
All right. I think from the way that you're going about this, then, I will ask you to make your empathy and observation roll for me, and we'll see what you glean.
I've managed to get 2 successes.
2 successes, fantastic. As you ruminate over the issue, you almost feel that same presence that Johan felt earlier. There's a sense of warmth, of pressure, a sense of passage, like walking directly behind someone and almost feeling the breeze of them go past. And as you sort of step into this warm breeze, you are directed back towards the water. And it's as you are directed towards that you see one of these pieces of newly created driftwood crest over one of the waves, bob over it and fall back down. And directly beneath it, you see something dark move beneath the water, a large, almost trunk-like entity, or part of something much bigger, but you're not sure what. And as it moves, suddenly, as it appeared, it sinks once again below the waves, and you lose sight of it.
Friends? I am sure I just saw a shadow beneath the waters.
A fish? Like, those are pretty good.
It almost had a root-like quality to it beneath there. I'm unsure if any of you have felt that within your skin, but I feel like we must find some way to make contact. There's something beneath. I feel like at this point Maya maybe wants to reach out towards the driftwood without taking the driftwood, almost patting it in the air. Almost
Maya, don't-
like feel.
Maya, don't touch the thing that ate the boat.
But do you not feel that?
I feel scared.
I think we are fortunate we landed at all. If there is something there.
But
All right, that's it. I want to go back inside. Away from the water. Water's not good. We're leaving. Water's not good. And Dagmar starts heading back for the chapel.
As you sort of head back for the chapel, you see how the path that led you away from the docks originally to get to this building actually continues on past the chapel. It seems to head further into this looming fog bank that seems to cover most of the island now. It's thickened, almost like pea soup, but you can still see the path that would lead you further in.
Dagmar takes a look at it before wanting to head into the chapel. Like, can I see anything through the fog or feel anything?
Let's have you roll a logic and vigilance check for me.
It's just fog.
Just fog. Unfortunately so. It's far thicker than before. Mostly centered around the middle of the island, though.
Yeah, Dagmar continues to head into the chapel.
Okay. The rest of you are left by the docks as Dagmar stools away.
Maya, even if we were to want to, how would you go about communicating with a creature of the sea?
well, does your inner being tell you how to communicate? Do you not feel that there is something within the very energies? Almost like the wind is tickling your fingers, almost to invite you to make contact? Or am I the only one hearing this music within the ears and my skin?
I know what she's saying, okay? She's saying that we should go fishing and then just have like a massive dinner and then just throw down. I mean, it's been a while since we had anything to eat anyway, since the, bread grave dude anyway. So, I mean, we could probably go for a couple fish, right? Maybe? I mean, I think we just jump in.
Of course. Why don't you look for a fishing pole?
You know what? I'm going to go back to Dagmar and maybe she can help me find a fishing pole or do some of her crazy bar magic. I don't know. She can do a lot of really crazy things. So I'm going to go check out and come back with a fishing pole.
Good luck.
Yeah. I do not believe a fishing pole is our answer, Astrid. If I am honest.
What would be? I do not think so either, but Johan needs something to spend his energy on.
Could Maya just almost like, while still hovering over this little bit of driftwood, just and take it, almost not breaking water?
Of course.
To have a closer look?
As you sort of stood here by the docks, you've got the vast expanse ahead of you, you've got the island behind, you see the retreating figure of Johan headed up to the chapel, Astrid's form close to hand. You feel relatively centered in your task here. You reach down into the water and snatch up a piece of driftwood. As you look it over, it seems there's absolutely nothing remarkable about it at all. It's almost disconcertingly plain. Something else you do notice about it is that for a very simple fishing vessel, it's very thick wood. It's very well made. You would almost call it fortified.
The grain within the wood doesn't seem to be telling me very much. I was kind of hoping that there would be some sort of story within the breaks. But again, I've got nothing. It's almost as though the air that is breezing through is just not... It's just circulating, but not directing. Do you understand, Astrid?
Better a plain piece of wood than losing your whole hand. Careful grabbing things out of this water.
But...
Astrid, could you please make me a logic and learning test?
That will be a single success.
Okay. You've been in this business sort of long enough to know the result of a forceful impact when you see one. This close to land, there are sure to be some sort of creatures outside the normal, especially this close to huge centers of industry. You're aware that a lot of Vaesen, especially with the upcoming innovations of the human race, like to gravitate towards these places either for revenge or curiosity. And there are many kinds of giant serpents and cephalopods that you've read about in various Vaesen tales and dossiers, but there are just so many that you're not quite sure whatever could be in this water.
Maya, my dear, you say you feel that this entity is trying to tell us something.
I believe so. It's just something about it. Sure, it may have destroyed our vessel that allowed us to cross the waters. But I feel as though it's almost goading us without being... How do I put it? Almost as though it's meaning danger without meaning danger. Sort of wanting to make contact in a threatening way. Maybe perhaps not quite in a combative way. Maybe more in a threatened way. I mean, for sure. We seem to have crossed its waters. It might have seen us as danger. Maybe we are the ones who are encroaching on its lands.
It has taken our way of departing. Astrid takes the last bit of the bread that we have and puts it, sort of holds it on the piece of driftwood that Maya recovered and puts it down and pushes it out and floats it out further into the waters.
Okay. As you sort of place this piece of bread down and push it away from you, you watch it bob up and down over the cresting waves. What's your empathy and observation scores total, if I may
4.
ask? 4. All right. As you watch, you notice something at the very corners of this piece of driftwood. It's almost imperceptible, but there's almost an appendage that begins to creep its way over the edge of the driftwood. Ever so carefully, ever so gently, tentative, almost testing it. There's a webbing, almost frog-like, between two bone-like sort of fingers, maybe? And it's as you come to that realization that it disappears again, leaving the bread on the piece of driftwood.
I don't believe it wants the bread.
But perhaps you are good to trust your instincts, whether or not it means to kill us. That seems to be no. Warn us? Maybe.
I do believe you may be right there. I feel like it's almost threatening without meaning to cause harm to us. At least not now. I don't sense it for now. But our path is still quite foggy, I believe. So who knows?
Into the fog, perhaps.
Perhaps.
We should rejoin the others then and tell
Yes.
them to look out for our froggy friend.
Yes, let's.
We will pan away from the two of you ever so slightly, spiraling out back across the rocks, almost on a raven's wing towards the chapel, where we dip once again through a window towards Johan. running in to see Dagmar.
Dagmar, so look, all right, they're over there at the water doing God knows what. I don't know. I think Maya was talking about like the water being vegan or something like that. And then like Astrid was all, oh, I'm very old and I need to go and brute and do other old people things. So anyway, I was like, wow, we could probably use some food. Do you know how to make a fishing pole?
Your Astrid impersonation is great.
I've been working on it, thanks. You know, we've been traveling for a little while now, so you learn a couple things. So do you know how to make a fishing pole by any chance? We could probably use a couple fish. I don't know.
No, I don't know how to make a fishing pole. Also, why would we start fishing in the waters where something just ate our boat?
Oh, see, I thought you were saying ate as like a metaphor, as in, the water's so vast, it ate the boat, trying to be all mysterious and whatnot. I didn't know it physically ate the boat. We probably don't want to fish there. We're going to have to put a pin in our fishing plan. And by our, I mean mine.
That's my thought.
Yeah. Okay.
That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna pocket that one. Okay. Anyway, it just dawned upon me too. Sidebar. We might be here with other people, possibly. When I came in here and I found that bandage with the flowers, I forgot to mention. It completely slipped my mind. I got super caught up on food. There was a basket here with like bread and other stuff that kind of like, I don't know, deteriorated or whatever. I don't know. I would like assume that someone was here at some point. It completely slipped my mind, but I don't know. I feel like there might be somebody here.
I mean, that there were people here, that much is clear, but can I see this basket with the bread?
Oh yeah, it's over in the corner somewhere, I think. Gotta go find it.
All right. Well, I mean, there were people here, but they seem to not be here, which makes it a them problem and not a me problem, I guess. I mean, at least we still have our pastries, right? That's what matters. We have the pastries, we have the inspiration juice. My arm works again.
Plus,
and you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a second look at where I got cut because I saw something shiny and I want to see if it's still there.
Wait, does that still count? It's okay. You know what? That's fine. I'm gonna go find this little thing here real quick.
Okay. Dagmar, what specifically are you looking for around as you approach this stained glass window, which still has flecks of your blood sort of dotting it?
I mean, I reached out because I saw something.
You did.
And I wanna see if I can still see it, if it's still there.
Okay. Roll me an investigation with your logic, please. And Johan, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for the decayed food that I saw earlier with the basket on its side.
Easy enough. You find once again this sort of basket by the altar with these loaves of bread and fish sort of scattered all over the floor. Now that you're taking sort of a closer look at it, you can make out that there are 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, you would say?
Okay. I can't imagine this is too good to eat. Granted, maybe I might try later. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna, at the very least, bring this back to Dagmar to show her what I found.
Sure. Are you scraping it back into the basket, or?
Whatever's in the basket. I might like do like a little, like one of those, and just because I'm not gonna like get all up in it, but I'll do like a little one of these, and then whatever's in the basket, I just kind of bring over.
Sure, you manage to sort of slough one of the fish back inside the basket, mold and all.
We take those.
One of the pieces of bread is kind of stuck to it because it's still rather moist, unfortunately, which is very unpleasant. So you're quite able to sort of maneuver it back into the basket and sort of bring it over to Dagmar. Dagmar, what did you roll for your logic and investigation?
1 success.
1 success, fantastic. As you're sort of scanning this stained glass window, you don't see anything through the mist. It's that iridescence you saw before, it's gone. But as you sort of cast your eyes up to this stained glass window, you see what Johan saw. You see carvings. Above each stained glass window, there is a carving of a young woman inside profile, wreathed with vines and holding a bunch of wildflowers. And as you turn around, you see at the very back by the first window where her hands have been molded into a sort of makeshift vase where Johan got the flowers.
I frown and I go over to the vase thing, like to take a closer look at what that is, and I'm just very suspicious and confused.
Yeah. And that is when Maya and Astrid will rejoin you. Maya and Astrid, you walk back in to see Johan carrying a basket of what looks like moldy food, and Dagmar quizzitively looking at a carving of a young woman.
What do you have there, Dagmar?
I don't know yet. I want to take a closer look at whatever this is. What is this? What's it for? Like, do I know? Like, does it seem familiar, or can I tell what? Was there anything in the vase?
There was. You
Those
sort of look.
flowers?
Yeah, you look over at sort of where Johan is standing and think, wait. Yes, the flowers that he was carrying very much would fit extremely nicely into this little vase-like appendage that she has had crafted into her clasped hands here. Apart from that, it just seems like an extremely well-done carving, but you recognize that symbology. You would know it anywhere. It's the exact same one that's on your necklace, Dagmar.
I pick it up and I make sure that there's like nothing on the bottom and like inside, and I don't know what to do with this. I just put it back down and I don't know what to say. I feel extremely uncomfortable.
Dagmar, you've lost a lot of blood. Please have a seat. You look faint.
Oh, yeah, I should. And I sit down.
Johan, are you going to fish with that basket? I do not think you will have much success.
Listen, so the fishing idea, that kind of died. Dagmar couldn't help me with the pole, and we kind of like came to the consensus that it wasn't a good idea. Granted, this would make great bait, by the way, I think. Also, I was gonna show you guys that this basket was in here and it had tons of like food in it at one point. I mean, you really can't tell because it's kind of like nasty and gone, but I would imagine someone put this fish and this bread in here. So like, what do you guys make of it?
That sounds like an invitation if I ever heard one.
You want it?
You can hold on to it.
Oh, okay.
The smell is... But it does sound like... What do they say? A plan, I believe?
You think this would be good for bait?
I believe this might be the offering that we may be thinking of rather than bread.
Shall we all take a trip back down to the water?
May I join you?
Yeah, sure.
Please bring the basket.
Got it.
Dagmar, are you going with them?
Yes, but Dagmar's kind of out of it and kind of mindfully grabs probably a slice of bread off the basket and like starts eating it before going like,
oh, yeah, that's nasty.
Dang.
That's really gross. That's so far gone that you barely get that halfway to your mouth before it sort of crumbles into ash in your palm. It loses structural integrity the moment it leaves the basket. You think that it's sort of being able to lay on this flat surface was really the only thing keeping it together.
That gross. Astrid, where are the pastries? The good ones. Ooh. Ugh.
Astrid points to the lone piece of pastry floating off on the wood.
As you go to look over at the driftwood, Astrid, the pastry's no longer there.
Maybe.
Sea monsters. First they're coming for our boat, now they're coming for our pastries. Oh,
Maya, if you would do the honors of lowering the basket.
Why not? I would be honored. At this point, Maya takes the basket and she places it. There is a dock there still, yes?
There is. There are 3 piers left. Pier 13, Pier 14, and Pier 21.
Such choices. I almost feel like we need to get closer to the water if we're going to make this offering. At this point, Maya's kind of almost like tickling the air, trying to decide where she may go. But she's not quite sure, almost hoping somebody may have a better idea about which one. Because they're all feeling kind of the same.
Dagmar grabs another thing from the basket and just throws it into the water. That'll do, right?
You grab one of the fish, this sort of mouldering fish carcass that once again it begins to sort of slough off. The muscle and the skin begins to come away from the bone as you're holding it, and you, as quickly as possible, throw it into the waters and see it disappear. But it only disappears because one of the waves sort of crests up over it, splashes back down, and it's still there floating on the top of the water. And in the next second, another one. And it dissipates. And that wave, this time, has made it completely disappear. The fish is gone.
So the water's not vegan. Got it.
Throw the whole basket. Just...
I do not know. There must be some which way. Are we going to entice it to come to us, potentially? Rather than throwing it into the waters and it disappearing, how about we try and invite it to us with this offering?
All right.
Maya, could you make me your empathy and observation roll, please?
Two successes.
Fantastic. As you're sort of looking around, this basket in your hand and your friends at your sides, you're sort of trying to decide where the lay of the land is telling you to go. You're trying to decide where the winds are blowing. You look into the water, you look back into the island, you survey the docks themselves back into the chapel, and it's as you're scanning past the chapel that you see the road back into the island proper, and you see something in the mist, something shimmering there. Stood maybe 7 foot above the ground, maybe 6, you're not sure, but it's a shimmering iridescence almost, like a dancing light, like something catching something reflective and then rebounding on a cave surface. It's beautiful and it's so enticing, and it's as you're staring at this that you see that same sort of appendage extend out of the mist. There are tiny bone-like, elongated, almost sticks, appendages just sort of extending out towards you out of the mist. Between them there are iridescent green, blue, turquoise, webbed fingers. And it just beckons you once and then disappears back into the mist.
Oh my. I feel like at this point, Maya starts taking slow steps towards this almost beckoning being in the fog. Almost delighted that it seems like, yet again, the path is opening up in front of her, yet still no idea where the windy road may go.
Okay.
Each step slowly going towards it.
Maya?
Did you not see? I think we've been invited.
Do we see anything?
As you all sort of turn towards where Maya is standing, the rest of you, no, not really. There's too much fog, it's hard to make out. But Dagmar, you've seen this shimmer before. You saw it in the chapel before you got distracted, before it startled you. It's that shimmering iridescence again, and then it disappears.
All right. I've got a bone to pick with you. And I start slowly heading towards the shimmery bit. Come on, Maya.
Can't talk back.
If we're invited, then let's go say hello.
Sure. You all make your way down this winding sort of path and into the island proper. The mist has fallen very thick and heavy upon the island now, and as you're making your way up from the docks and further in, you can follow this paved path that cuts a wide track through sparse grass. As you cast your gaze left and right, you can barely see sort of 20 feet before you, this pearlescent cloying mass obscuring your vision. As you go to look back towards the docks, it's the same story. You can't see the docks anymore. It's just this pearlescent sort of white mass. And at first, it seems completely impenetrable, but then in front of you, to the right, there is something that catches your attention. At first, it seems like a low wall, completely out of place and about knee height, just perched on the side of the path. But then you notice another one that adjoins it, another and another, sort of a tumble-down mess of cobble and loose rock, interlocking shapes around bold patches of earth. And as you watch, the shapes resolve themselves into the bones of a house's foundations, laid bare and picked clean. Perched atop one of the walls is a small metallic object, round, about wrist-sized.
I go and grab it.
You go and grab it. The object is a bracelet. It's made of burnished steel, upon which is the symbol of a wheel with several spokes breaking the edge of the circle. Are you showing this to anyone else?
Oh, look what I found. It's pretty. Can I keep it?
Maya.
Please be more careful reaching up into the dark.
It's almost identical to the bracelet Natalia wore, except where her bracelet had 5 spokes, this bracelet only has 4.
Dagmar?
Yeah?
Could I look closer, please?
All right, but I found it first. And I hand it over to her.
I'd like to pass the basket back to Johan.
Might need that for later.
You never know, do you? And Maya grabs the bracelet and really inspects the spokes. Is there a missing spoke? Was it welded that way, or did it happen to snap off?
It seems like you're very used to sort of seeing the bracelet that Natalia used to wear. It's a very simple design. The bangle itself is simply a steel C-shaped circlet, and then embossed onto it, almost as if it was burned on with some sort of very hot iron and then dry brushed in, is this symbol, sort of a very, very well-made circle it looks almost perfect, almost bone-achingly perfect in its roundness, with these spokes that form a wheel shape on the inside and break the edge. And you see that this one just wasn't made with that many, with an additional spoke. This one was simply just made.
This brings back such strange memories. I've seen this before, but not quite the way that I can see it. It's almost as though something is missing, but not quite.
Apologies, sorry. Correction. The bracelet that you're used to seeing has 4 spokes. This one has 5. So it does have an additional one that you have not become used to.
And then
Is it yours?
No. I once had a friend who had an item similar to this. Very similar. Just missing a bit. I haven't seen it in so long. Yet, I can't believe we've seen it here.
Is there anything beyond the wall of this foundation?
You're not entirely sure. As you're sort of staring out beyond these walls, you just see this shroud-like mist. It seems to all the world that the only things around you right now are this house's foundations and the road that you have been traveling down.
It seems like a lot of symbols are showing up on this island. What was the goal of this island again, Astrid? Why are we here? Who are we gonna meet? Like, this island seems deserted.
That seems like a fool's errand now, yes.
All right. Well, I don't know what's going on, and it's freaking me out. However, standing around here is not going to do anything, so let's just press on.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this, Dagmar. I say we just pick a direction and then we just go. And maybe we can use this basket as bait later, but that's not the point. Now the bracelet's not any more important than it just looks kind of cool. That we can just go, right? Let's just take off.
Okay. You continue down the road. Maya and Astrid, are you following them?
I feel
Maya,
like.
Are you all right?
I feel puzzled, if I'm honest, Astrid. Absolutely, completely puzzled. Just like this fog. I feel like I've had a wash of it over me. How could a bracelet like this be here? When
A lot of things that shouldn't be here are here, including sea monsters.
But
I want to take a quick look at the rest of the foundation of the house. Is there anything else to find?
Of course you can. Make me a logic and investigation roll, please. And anyone who would like to aid her may grant you an additional dice to this roll.
I'll help, but we can't stay here forever. We got some food. We got some moves to make. So let's get this going.
What was the roll?
This would be Dagmar's logic and investigation, but she can take an additional dice for each of you who are helping.
Are you all helping?
I would like to help.
Same.
To try and find answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
3 additional dice for you, Dagmar.
1 success.
1 success. All right. As the shapes become clear, you make out the form of a large entry hall, a parlor room adjacent to it, a long hall, a stately drawing room, even the round brickwork of a turret. This wasn't just a house, this was a mansion. But additionally, you recognize this style of building work. It denotes the styles of the 16th century, in the symmetry of the layout, in the proportions. And you remember from idle reading about the area that noble families had dealings with the nearby Vreta Abbey, especially in the 16th century, where there were rumors that many daughters of such families had begun going missing.
All right. Okay, I'm getting like real spooky vibes here. I believe this is like some sort of mansion, like noble stuff. All right. Oh no, this is not good. This is not good. This is bad. It's bad is what it is. All right. Anybody else has anything to do here? Like, I'm kind of done.
Nope, I'm ready to go.
Okay. As you stride off down the path, Dagmar, you get maybe another 40 feet into the mists, and you're beginning to worry that maybe this mist is all there is now. It's just so all-encompassing. It's everywhere. But then, as you're beginning to get concerned, you can see that further down the path, looming up ahead, is the silhouette of a huge building, a hulking shadow against the mist that marks the end of the path that you've been following. Before you can reach it, though, you begin to hear something else. All of you, just on the edge of your senses, a strange lilting tune, a song almost, but the words alien.
Do you hear that?
Yes. Where's it coming from?
Is this what you were talking about, Maya?
It might be. But you can hear it.
It's a rather dull tune, isn't it?
You hear this all the time? Oh, God. It's really weird.
It almost seems like an unfamiliar language to you all. Although you can't understand what it's saying, whatever it is, it's heartbreakingly beautiful. And for a moment, you're lost to this tune. All of you, I'm going to need you to make me an empathy and observation roll, please.
I had no such luck.
One success.
Also one.
Neither.
We will deal with our successes first. Who succeeded? Johan and Astrid. You feel the music entering your mind, but you're no stranger to things trying to mess with your head. Stubbornly, you shrug off the effect, and you feel these cold, delicate fingers that had begun to trace the back of your neck retreat into the mist. For those of you who weren't as lucky, Maya and Dagmar, the fog is suddenly far denser than it should be. Your vision grows dark and obscured. As you go to move through it, you feel your limbs move sluggishly as though wading through water. As you breathe in, that is what you inhale, salt water. It fills your lungs and your throat that threaten to drown you, and then as suddenly as it came on, the vision is gone. Your lungs are clear, and you are back in the mist with your allies coughing and sputtering as brackish black seawater dribbles like ink from your mouth.
Maya, Dagmar, what happened?
What is going on?
It's the
Johan,
fog.
look around. Do you see anything?
Just fog. There's nothing happening here. I'm so confused.
Let's hurry toward the building.
You hurry
Come.
towards the building. Okay. As you approach the structure, you see it loom forward and up against the gloom. It looks to be at least 2 stories, although it's hard to tell from the outside, and takes up significant amount of space here on this tiny spit of land. The very top of the warehouse's front disappears into the mists above you, as do the sides. And as you approach the building, you notice the double doors are being held shut by a chain, held together by a padlock, the locking bar of which is open and rusted. Whatever was locking this has long eroded away, leaving it pretty easy to ingress.
All right, well, we have to get in here quick, so I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to give it a nice little kick, and then we're just going to get in here because it doesn't seem like it's too hard to get into. So let's make some moves here, people.
Johan, you kick the door open? Okay. There is a resounding thud as Johan's boot connects with the door, and then another crash as the door thuds against the side of the warehouse, revealing what's within. You all hold your breath. You hardly dare to move as you wait, but nothing happens. And as you stare inside, you can see the light is diffused in this place by windows as it filters in. They're grimy and they're misted with age. On all sides, there are crates that are piled high, forming islands and gridded walkways that have been cleared to allow you ingress through them. It's a massive space stretching over what looks like thousands of square feet and gives the feel of a large, cluttered cathedral, a great hall of modern industry. As you walk forward, you see that each of the crates has a symbol burned into them, a wheel dispersed by a number of spokes that break the circle. However, as you keep walking, you notice differences. The number of spokes vary on each crate. Starting at the front of the warehouse, the circle each has 1 spoke, adding more and more as you reach nearer the back.
This is just like the bracelet we found.
Feeling
What
a bit familiar. Yes.
All right. What the fun is going on here?
I have no clue. Astrid, assessment. What is happening here? Because I have no clue.
I think perhaps we should see what is inside these crates. They may hold some answers.
As you sort of approach the nearest one, Astrid, you can see that they are nailed shut.
Johan, we may need use of your sword in prying these open.
Say no more. I've been waiting to start kicking stuff open.
Wait.
What?
Yes,
What?
Maya.
Should we not at least listen first? Since the world around us seems to be warping and clogging our lungs and not clogging our lungs, I feel like we should at least listen before we open, rather than acting on impulse. I think we should at least give this crate
A hug? No.
or maybe an ear. Maybe an ear?
Okay. You listen to it, do your thing, and then the minute you're done, I'm smashing it open.
Astrid nods slowly and lowers their head to the side of the crate and presses an ear up against it.
Okay. As you sort of listen, you all tensely wait in this moment, trying to listen for anything that might respond to the pressure. Astrid, you bend down and you listen in. What crate are you listening to? Are you nearer the door, or have you ventured towards the very back of the warehouse?
I think considering the bracelet that Maya is holding on to now, Astrid would see the ones near the back that have... Do they end at 5 spokes, or do they go higher?
Interestingly, they go from 1 to 4. But as you look around, you don't seem to see any with 5 until at the very, very back, it catches your eye. Pressed up against the wall, there is a small stack of crates, and these ones do have 5 spokes. You find your eye guided upward as you reach this stack, and you notice that on the back wall of the warehouse, a wooden plaque has been screwed into place on the walls, one of each type of box, displaying the progress of the symbol. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the floor, next to the 4th one, is the lid of a crate with 5 spokes that hasn't yet been nailed up. You don't hear anything within the box.
Is the top above eye level? Or can I peer in?
It is. You can peer in. Astrid, I will ask you to roll me your logic and investigation, please.
No successes.
No successes. You can, of course, choose to try a reroll, but you know that you will risk something.
I'll go for it. I'll go for it.
Okay, make me your reroll, please.
2 successes.
2 successes. Fantastic. As you look around, you see this additional plaque that has not been nailed up, and you see the boxes beside you in this sort of standalone stack away from the rest of them, almost isolated. Upon closer inspection, you notice that the symbols that have been painted with a careless hand. These symbols seem of a lesser quality the ones nailed up on the wall, as if they had been done freehand. But whatever hand painted them, especially on the 5th symbol, seemed to have been shaking very, very badly. In addition, as you're standing by this crate, as you pull away from it and you glance around, trying to see what the pattern is here, what's different, you do see something that catches your attention. One crate seems aligned oddly. Something is poking out of the bottom, a line of floorboards that isn't flush with the rest. You get the idea that if you moved the crate that's on top of it, you may have found an entryway into something beneath the warehouse. And you remember from back in your smuggling days, this is exactly the kind of thing you'd expect to see from a less than kosher operation. And it's as you realize this that you're going to take me the frightened condition as a deep-seated realization of what you've possibly walked into here sinks into your bones. And your only thought now is, where's Alice? Where's your contact? Is she down there? If she is, you have to find her.
Astrid sort of haphazardly throws herself at the boxes to push them off of the trapdoor.
Okay. Is anyone going to help Astrid, sort of seeing her lunge forward at these boxes and try and shove them away?
I'll help.
I'm helping.
Okay. I will say that between all of you, it won't require a roll. You manage to sort of apply each of your strength and shove this big, heavy crate aside. Your hands come away filthy with the dust of it. A dusting of sawdust, as though someone has cleaned up carpentry work very recently. You sort of blow it away from your hands. Beneath the crate is indeed something you recognize, Astrid. It is a trapdoor leading down into a basement that shouldn't be there. This kind of warehouse should not have a lower level. That's just not how they're done, not how they're made, usually, unless someone has something to hide. The lid is tight shut, but it's only latched by a deadbolt.
Go on, quick. We must get down there.
What's going on? Why are you freaking out? What's happening?
Alice may still be here, but we must act quickly.
Okay, where are we going? Let's go. Just point me in the right direction.
There, that deadbolt, that lock needs to be broken. We need to get down there.
Say no more. Let's go. I'm swinging the sword and I'm hitting the lock with it.
Okay. Let's have you roll for me, shall we? Let's see. Johan. Oh, well, that's helpful, isn't it? Let's have you roll me your physique and your close combat, please. That's 8 dice for you.
All right. 1 success and 1 massive slash for success.
Fantastic. You swing your sword down with a triumphant yell. You've perfected this maneuver. And as you execute it with flawless form, you strike the deadbolt and send it ringing like a chapel bell back from its position. And as you do so, the trapdoor almost bounces up from its position rested in the floor. And it is very much no longer locked.
Perfect. All those years of training have finally paid off for this moment.
Okay, as you move it aside and heave the trapdoor open, it's the smell that hits you first. It's old seawater and old tunnels. There's a heady, musky scent like uncovering a tomb. And it unveils a pitch black tunnel with rough-hewn stairs that lead down into the dark. But as someone's clearly encountered this one before...
sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. Someone's clearly encountered this problem before you. In a carved-out cubbyhole in the side of the wall, there is a dark alcove in which 2 lanterns have been left and are still filled with oil. And it's at that point that we will take our break. We once again join our Thursday's children, this time not on the back of a crow's wing, but through a grimy window. In the mists surrounding Vreta Island, there is something that swims, something that lurks, something that sees. And as it peers in to this warehouse, taking in the guests, it sees them pick up 2 lanterns from a cubby hole hidden in the side of a wall, from where they've moved aside some crates to reveal a passageway. It sees them descend steps that have become rough-hewn over time. And it sees them entering for what seems to be, for all intents and purposes, a storage area. It's dark, roughly carved stone walls, dry and well-kept despite the darkness and the smell of seawater. There's finely made steel shelving units that form a maze-like corridor that would lead you through this place and deeper in. Held on shelves are yet more crates, alongside Hessian sacks that bulge with jagged edges and threaten to bring down the shelf beneath them with their weight, groaning as you move past. At the back of this room, there is a space where the cavernous storage area thins and narrows into a tunnel leading into the dark. A ways off, you hear the soft trickle of running water, but other than that, this place is completely still. Somewhere nearby, however, something tickles your nose. Something akin to what you smelled in the chapel. Deep, earthy rot.
Where is it coming from?
It seems to be coming from further in.
Well, I love what they done with the place. Ugh.
Come on, why are you all dawdling? Come on, hurry.
Surely we should,
Right, jeez.
I feel like we should take our steps a bit more cautiously, Astrid.
There's no time for caution.
We do not know what's beneath these shadows. Where does it go? We do not know.
What can we see what's on the shelves in boxes and stuff?
You see similar crates to what were above. However, this time they are smaller, about half the size. These symbols here vary. They are in no particular order either, and dispersed within them are these very heavy sacks. What's interesting about them is the rest of this place has been so uniform so far, but these items are bulging, almost as if they are wearing skin that is too small for them.
Can I open one of these sacks?
Of course you can. It's easy enough to do. The hempen rope that holds it shut, whilst it has been tied tightly, over time, the rope has become brittle as it has held this shut for what seems to be a very long while now. And as you go to wrench it off, it snaps in your hand, coming apart, and the top of the bag splits open to reveal what's inside. It is a sack full of what appears to be steel, metal, iron, all sorts of jagged forms of raw metal that have just been jammed into this sack and hastily tied shut.
Okay, that is odd. Now, I'm not going to stick my hand in here because... Johan, would you like to grab one of the things?
I don't know what it is, but since you're offering it to me, I'm going to absolutely grab it. What's the worst that could happen?
Please be careful.
You reach in, Johan, and you grab a jagged hunk of what appears to be some sort of corrugated steel. It seems to, maybe as you're looking at it, have once been part of a shovel. You're not sure.
Wonder if I could make that into a sword. That'd be kind of cool, actually. What is this again? Why'd you hand this to me?
I don't know, it's chunks of metal. I check another sack next to it to see if it's the same thing.
Same thing?
Same thing. These are just sacks of metal. Why would you put metal in sacks?
Astrid, as you're looking around this place, there's that click again in your mind of something familiar here. This very much resembles every other bootlegging operation you've ever seen.
Makes no sense.
What does an Astrid?
This... It doesn't make sense for a place like this to be here on this island.
What do you mean? A place like this?
The sophistication, there's... How is all of this here? How is all of this here? We're on... Was this a waypoint?
Waypoint?
How much does Astrid recall about the industry of this island?
Let's have you make a logic and learning test here.
One success.
One success. You know that Lasang de Douglas Fisheries is a subsidiary of, well, it's a group of subsidiaries, really. It's a company that tends to work by buying out smaller fishing companies and then making them work for it under its sort of umbrella. It works out of this massive industrial space on Vreta Island, but it has footholds in fishing ports all around the lake. In addition, you know that it was set up by a young lord who was part of the Douglas lineage, who married away.
Maya, this place is... This island is for fishing. Not iron. Not steel, not metal.
Ah. Now that you say it seems so obvious. How curious.
This Lasang de Douglas company, they must have been running a smuggling operation all through the north of Europe.
What name?
The fishery here, it is the company, the corporation, the owner is Lasang de Douglas.
Of course it is.
Do you know him?
Heard of him, sure. Nice bloke. All right, island is made for fishing. Nothing new here. That makes sense. What's up with the metal? Why does a fishery have sacks of metal? Fish don't like metal, do they?
No.
They don't.
Weapons like metal. There is much money to be made in the art of war. Come, there is nothing more to find here. Let us venture deeper.
All right.
As you say, Astrid, as you say.
As you walk, your lanterns illuminate the path ahead. As you go, you leave the manicured, sort of well-kept storage area behind, and you begin to see the sides of the wall gain condensation. They begin to drip with trickles of water that escape the stonework. And as you keep going, they illuminate something else ahead of you on the path. Holding up the light sources, the gentle orange glow causes the shadows to flee, allowing you to pick out the features of what appears at first to be a rocky bump on the floor of the tunnel. But then you see that the features are things like the fabric of a cable-knit cardigan, practical threadbare clothing hanging loosely off of a body, lead discarded on the ground, Their head is turned away from you. Their long, red, matted hair is dirty with blood. As soon as you come upon the scene, the smell of rot, oddly, seems to lessen, getting less intense the closer you get to the body.
I feel like Maya maybe takes the lead cautiously and almost brushes the hair almost to see if perhaps this being is sleeping, for she has not been witness to many who are beneath the ground, I suppose.
You notice, as you get closer, Maya, that her clothes, whilst threadbare and dirty, are relatively well preserved. Her skin, whilst sallow and beginning to purple in places where the blood is pooling beneath the skin, is still very much intact. Her wide open eyes have a gauzy paleness to them that covers the entire eye, colouring them white, and her cardigan pockets are bulging as though stuffed. More than that, on her finger, as you look down, you can see a small green band.
I feel like at this point Maya would beckon her friends almost to maybe join in and taking a peek upon this poor morsel that is no longer with us. I feel like Maya would also be maybe ever so slowly inching her hand towards the sleeping being's fingers to inspect whatever this thing may be.
Everyone, I'd like you to meet Alice.
Alice?
What happened?
She's pining for the fjords, kid.
Well, what do we do now? Like, this was our contact, right?
Was, yes.
Maya, as you reach down for her hand, you see this sort of green band on her right ring finger. Curiously, it seems to be made out of leaves. Almost, when you see water lilies, you never see them far from the green petals that they spring up from. This seems to almost have been made from those leaves, and it curls delicately and tenderly around her finger, completely unrotted and undisturbed.
Oh. How curious.
What is it?
Do you see that? What could it be? It's a piece of botanical for sure. Upon her finger? Notice how it doesn't rot, like her skin seems to be. What could this mean?
I take my knife, and with the back of it, I try to lift her hand to take a closer look at it, and maybe see if it comes off easily just by tapping it.
You lift her hand very, very gently, trying not to disturb the flesh, and you manage it. It's not difficult. The body, whilst it seems relatively old, it doesn't seem to have reached any stages of liquefaction, at least not yet. It's remarkably well preserved. And as you sort of give the hand a small shake, the ring stays put. It seems to almost want to be there.
All right, who's going to touch it?
I don't think we should, if I'm honest.
Not me.
Astrid shakes her head and just too squeamish for someone who jumps into things, and sort of squats by the body, and
all right,
starts actually by sort of lifting the face and looking at it, sort of giving the body a once over,
Okay.
before going to the hand.
Right. I think for this, I will ask you to make your logic and your learning roll for me, and we'll see what you can learn.
Nothing, apparently.
Nothing. As you look her over, you start at the face, and that may have been a mistake. Holding her face in your hands, you imagine this young life. You cannot help but imagine this sort of person that Alice was. You can't help but imagine the organization that she was a part of and the hope that people like her embodied for the youthful in this country trying to make a change. The thought of her coming to such an end beneath such a place is unconscionable.
Astrid stands quickly and takes a step back. Perhaps there is something deeper in, and turns and begins to move just immediately deeper into the tunnel.
All right. The rest of you, what would you like to do?
I would like to dance my fingers along the body and check the pockets and see if there is anything that may allude further as to what may have happened.
All right. You begin to rifle through these pockets, and once again, you notice that they are almost straining. The cable knit wool of her cardigan wasn't meant to carry this much within it. You find a crumpled piece of paper with a poem printed on it in neat handwriting. You recognize this immediately, all of you. It's the same poem that Dagmar found in the boathouse, the poem of the Thursday's child. And as you're sort of all looking at this, I'm going to need you to roll a logic and learning test for me, just to see if you notice something.
I've managed to get one success.
All right. Very good. You also notice that on the back of this poem, there is a hastily scrawled map of some sort. It appears to show the island, but something more than that. It doesn't show the above ground. As you are looking into it, you see that it traces in a very familiar way to the path you just came down. It goes from the warehouse down and through underneath the subterranean lands of this island and towards a tall spire-like drawing that has been labeled Lighthouse. On Alice's person, you also find a small card which reads Alice Leander Smith, Lund University. On the back is the symbol of a violin bowstring snapped in half. Beside this is a large iron key with a stiff paper label tied to it. The label simply reads Lighthouse Light Room. The band on her finger seems to be made of delicately arranged leaves.
I think I found a key.
All right. Well, then we have a goal, I guess. Now, as for this ring, Johan, would you like to be brave?
I mean, we could play paper, scissors, rock for it. We could, draw straws. We could, we're doing this. All right, we're doing this. All right, you ready? All right, yes. All right. But no, we're gonna go it's paper, scissors, rock, and then shoot, not on rock. Okay, so all right, you ready? Paper, scissors, rock. Oh wow! Great minds think alike. All right, best two out of three. Are you ready? Let's go. Paper, scissors, rock, shoot. Oh my God, are you serious? Are we sharing a brain cell? Okay. This is all right. This is it though. This is all right. Here we go. Paper, scissors, rock, shoot. Ha! Oh my gosh. Okay, that's fine. Just don't
touch the dead lady's finger. Do it.
I'm going for it. I touch the dead lady's finger and I grab whatever.
Are you pulling the ring off?
I'm pulling the ring off, making it worth it.
All right. As you reach for it, you feel this natural texture beneath your fingers. It's like running your hands across a lily in the middle of a pond. There's condensation on it, but it feels fresh and alive. As you pull it away, though, it seems to stiffen, and there's resistance, but you keep pulling. And eventually it does come off, but something else comes off with it too, a chunk of Alice's finger. And as it does so, it begins to dissolve in your hand. The ring, the hand, the arm, the rot crawls up the body in tendrils of black, brackish, necrotic vines, almost like veins, as they start to bulge and decay and liquefy once more. And as the body begins to give into ash and become soil, you see her face become less than human as it sinks into a skull, the flesh and the bone sloughing into each other and decaying away.
So I'm going to start by saying that was the worst game of paper, scissors, rock in my entire life. May never shoot scissors again. But it also, listen, I'm kind of in shock. This is probably the grossest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, but it does remind me of the stuff in this basket that also kind of like was very decayed. I'm not sure if there's a correlation because I'm not a professional, but like, I don't think bodies are supposed to do that. I don't know. I'm still new to all this, but maybe there's something not right here. I don't know.
All I know is that you did it.
I did. I definitely did. I have regrets. And Astrid's not here, and we never speak of this ever again.
Never happened.
But Astrid may know. Astrid seems to have lived many moons. Maybe Astrid knows.
You're right.
We should take the ring with us. I feel like this would be the most wisest decision with that most unwise choice just now.
Maya, as you're sort of ruminating over this, your mind keeps going back to the poem, and you realize it almost in a split second. The words are wrong. That's what it was. The words are wrong. In the actual poem, it's the child that is born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay. But in this iteration, it says it is bonny and light. Something's wrong. Some of the words have been changed.
Friends?
Yes?
Friends, I think it's coming together. I think we need Astrid. Astrid shouldn't be walking alone here. We need to investigate what all of this means. Do you see this poem? You know it by heart, right?
And it's as Maya says this that we will cut to Astrid briefly, leaving the rest of you to ruminate. Astrid, as you stride ahead, trying to keep your mind ahead of your racing thoughts, trying to keep one foot in front of the other at all times, take yourself away from what you just saw. You turn a corner. Have you taken a lantern with you, or are you walking in the dark?
I have one of the lanterns.
You have one of the lanterns. As you walk ahead, you turn one corner and another. Sharp right-angle turns that lead you deeper in. And then eventually, you see one long stretching corridor, like a spidery appendage. It ends in a steel door, thick and heavy set, straining against the stone it's set into, with a barred window in the middle that allows you to look into what lies beyond. Below the window, the door has been hollowed out slightly to form a cubbyhole. At the top of this ingress is a skinny, cruel-looking silver blade, pointed down, and brought into the bottom. The steel has been shaped into a chalice with a small hole in the bottom that disappears into darkness. Above the door is that symbol again, a young woman in side profile in a stylized shield, wreathed by vines and holding a bunch of wildflowers, carved into the metal.
I take out the pendant that I found and I look more closely at this pendant to see if there is any latch on it, any hinge, any way to... Is it hollow? Does it open? Or is it simply a pendant?
As you investigate this pendant, you know exactly what you're looking for, and that certainly makes it easier. As you run your fingers over the side of it, you've almost given up. It's so smooth. It's the seam line, wherever it is, it must be so well made. It's almost like a hair. There's nothing there. You think maybe it's just a crack in the metal, but then you see it. There's a hinge. It's minuscule, but it's there. And as you click it open and pry it open, you see that inside there is almost a small glass plate with a divot inside of it. It's empty right now, but what is contained within is the remnants of what used to be there. Within this glass plate is dried blood. And as you look back at the spike on the door, you see that the silver knife is similarly crusted with blood.
Slowly, Astrid puts the pendant away, holds the lantern up near eye level, and slides away the peephole.
As you move this sort of metal grate aside, you notice that just where your lantern light shows into this hallway, you see where the rock stops being rock, it starts becoming brick. Past here, there is a man-made structure, very uniform, almost like a train tunnel that has been built into this place, taking you further beneath the island.
Take out the pendant again and look at the remnants of the blood that's in there. And Astrid is going to just sort of spit into it, mix it with her saliva, and takes a finger and kind of mushes it to see if it will dislodge and loosen this blood if the saliva starts to redden.
Very much so. You manage to sort of warm up this congealed liquid to a point where your saliva and the blood itself mingle to make a sort of pinkish liquid. There is very little blood left in this, but you think that perhaps this is some sort of solution?
Looking back one more time to see if the others are anywhere near.
At this point, you very much do hear the consternation of voices as your compatriots are making their way towards you.
Then, quickly before they arrive, I will tip this solution into this chalice.
Okay. And as you do so, you manage to tip this in and retract your hand before the three of them round the corner. The rest of you see Astrid take a step back from this steel door with an ingress in the middle, steel knife, chalice, peephole above it. And you hear something within the door begins to whir. something begins to click and grind and groan. Metal grinds against metal, resulting in a scratching noise that makes your hair stand on end and vibrates in the core of your being. This continues for a few more seconds, but then it stops.
This is about time you all came.
Hey, Astrid. I slap Astrid on the back. Well done. And I try to like open the door, the whirring stuff.
You try to open the door, okay? As you depress the handle, you pull at it, and it rattles in the frame, but it doesn't budge.
Oh. Well, less well done, Astrid, I guess. Dang.
Astrid eyes you and your arm. You know, Dagmar, perhaps it is time we changed the linen on that wound.
Why? It's all right.
Maybe bleeding through.
Why? Since when do you care?
Dagmar, I have always cared. Perhaps too much.
All right. Dagmar starts taking it off.
Astrid pulls out a bit of the remaining strip or trades it out. Well, let's see if we can get this door open, shall we?
All right, I'm on it. I'm gonna go for a massive kick and see if I can get it to budge.
But wait.
What? No, not on board this.
Have you?
You never know.
Okay, if you are going to do the thing, then let's do the thing. Please make me a physique and agility roll.
Can I help?
Of course you can. Add an additional dice for Dagmar's help.
All right. 1 success and 1 swift kick with the power of friendship.
All right. As you strike the door with your foot, you feel it give slightly. Just enough to infuriate you. Just enough to make you think you've got it. And then it rattles indignantly in the frame, and it stays put.
I mean, I can totally get this door. I can go for another kick, guys. What are you thinking?
What if we kick together? We gotta time it out though.
Like you read my mind, like on go, not on 3, but like 3, then go. Just like, okay, yeah, I'm on board for this. Absolutely. All right, going for a second kick.
Going for a second. Please make that roll. Johan, make that roll again. Add the additional dice for Dagmar's help.
All right. And with the power of friendship, we make another success.
Okay. Just the one?
Just the one.
You kick out at this door once again. You feel your foot rebound against it. And this time, it's almost like you can feel the mechanism within the door itself rebelling against you. There's something in this door that doesn't want to budge. It doesn't want to open. It doesn't want to give way to you. And you can feel that as you strike out against it directly where the lock is. You've kicked open a few doors in your time. You know how this is done. And it's as you connect that you realize maybe force isn't enough, because it's just staying put.
Well, guys, I gave it all I got. What are your plans?
May I investigate the door a bit more closely? I mean, after all, I'm holding on to a map and a key, and I suppose, yeah, perhaps. Maybe?
Of course. Make me your logic and investigation, please.
Drats. Nothing.
Dagmar wants to see if she can pick it, like if there's a lock to pick.
For this, I will ask you to, let's see, what have we got for you, Dagmar? Your precision is pretty good, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Let's say then your precision and your stealth. Let's see how good you are at figuring out things that don't want to let you in.
Two successes.
Fantastic. As you analyze this door, you see that there's no lock specifically, but there's a reason for that. The mechanism in the middle, the ingress, where the knife points down towards the chalice, specifically towards where there's a hole in the bottom of the chalice that disappears into the rest of the door, that's the lock. And you know there's only one way to get past one of these. You've read about them. You've heard stories told about them. Almost around bedtime or in front of a fireplace in the dead of winter, you thought it was just your family trying to scare you. You thought it was just your uncle or your granddad, perhaps, trying to rattle you, trying to allude to a history that surely can't be as wrapped in as much mystery and misdirection as they make it seem. And yet, here it is, right in front of you, a bloodletting door. You know, this door only responds to one type of key, and it is not found in a pocket. It flows within one's veins, and it will not react kindly to the wrong sort of key.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dagmar.
Astrid, why didn't you tell me? What did you put in it? It was whirring when we came in. What did you put in it?
So while you all have been kicking and looking, Astrid has taken what little of the alcohol remains in her flask and just funneled the blood-soaked cloth into it and swirled it around and swirled it around and swirled it around. And says, Dagmar, what are you talking about? As she approaches the door and says, this, all I did was pour some liquid in, and takes her flask and pours it into the hole, into the chalice. Like this.
It's a concoction of what you found in the necklace and your liquor, correct?
No, the cloth that was binding Dagmar's arm.
Ah, I see. Right. That and spirit.
And whatever is left from the necklace.
Understood. Once again, there is a whirring sound from deep within the door itself. Mechanisms grinding together, meeting like teeth of a predator as they clamp together. And there's a grinding as they move, trying to slide into place, but there's something stopping it. Something in the way. And as it grinds and grinds and grinds and tries to move, once again it stops. Suddenly.
Well, congratulations, Astrid. Now you got the door drunk. I hope you're happy.
Wait. The door's inspired now, by the way. I think something's happening. I don't know.
You know what, Johan? I stand corrected. All right. What we're dealing with here is a bloodletting door. It needs blood. I don't know whose blood. I don't know if it's specific blood. I'm the only one already bleeding. So let's try mine without alcohol. And I take the wrap off again.
Dagmar, are you sure?
We want to get in, right? What do you suggest?
How do you know
we go
what this
back?
is?
I've got sources. And I take the wound and I squeeze. I'm assuming it's already a little bit more closed, but it's probably not fully.
Easy enough. You take your wound, step up to the door, and you manage to compel some of the lifeblood that runs through your veins to come to the surface. Squeezing it out into the chalice, you watch as drip by drip, your blood splashes onto the stonework, onto the steel, and it creates this odd texture mingling with the liquid that was already in there and sinking down through the hole. It almost seems hungry as it consumes it. And then from within the door, you hear another noise. But this time, it's well-oiled and easy. There's a quiet hiss of industry and gears, and it culminates after a full minute of this whirring in a gentle click. With that, the door slowly swings open, revealing the continuation of a passageway beyond, composed of well-made, man-made brick.
Well, I can lockpick anything.
Clearly.
And I wrap the thing back around my arm. Shall we?
I'm impressed. I'm down. Let's go. We shall.
And we head down the hall.
As you continue, you find yourselves in a space that takes better to lantern light. Without the craggy rock of rough-hewn stone, you find yourselves being able to maneuver down this passageway quite easily. The floor seems better kept here. It seems well traversed almost. And it's as you're making your way down this hallway, taking a corner and then another corner, down another long stretch, deeper into the bowels of the island proper, the footsteps of your compatriots are joined by yet another sound, one that's becoming oh so familiar to you now. It's that same ethereal tune, but this time it seems so far away. It's a low, tuneful whistling, bird-like in its inflections, and it follows you as you progress further into the dark. A simple, melodic tune. And it's at this point, as this beautiful melody resounds in your minds, that Maya, the rest of that poem seems to come back to you as if in a dream, as if in a daze. You realize that unedited, that poem should read blithe and giving with far to go. But the edited version that you found on Alice's body, the words have been changed. And now those three pivotal words say, light the oceans.
I've got it. The
What?
answers. They're swirling and swirling. It was a puzzle all along.
What is?
I think, as preposterous as it may sound, we need a light. We need the light. That's what we need. That's what will lift this. That's what will stop it, potentially.
Well, we're gonna find light.
I don't have any light.
Well, we have the lanterns, do we not? And if we look upon this map, do you not see that there is a lighthouse at the bottom? We need to find this building that is the sunlight. And maybe that will give us our answers, our path. And maybe that will stop this chaotic lullaby that seems to keep following. Oh, yes. At this, I feel like my eyes being all like, withering heights, dancing. We're like, I have got it. We got this. And trying to almost like emote to the others, almost hoping they pick up what I'm putting down to be like, yes, this is it. This is what we need.
All right. All right. Yeah. We're heading to the lighthouse. We got a key. Let's keep going. Do you know where it is?
But do we not need more light? Am I able to look around to see if there is something that we can maybe enlighten our path further?
Of course. You look around this tunnel and you see, as you look back the way you came and forward to where the tunnel would take you, it is so, so dark down here. You are truly entombed by the earth now. It presses in on all sides. I'm not sure how deep down this has gone, but it's deep and it's dark and it's all encompassing. And it's as you're thinking of this that you hear behind you a shuffle, maybe 30 feet back, something moving across the stone slowly. Shh. And then it stops. And it's joined by another sound. A bang. The bang of steel slamming shut.
Was that the door?
I believe that sounded like the door.
We didn't tie up the boat and we didn't put anything in front of the door.
I was thinking the same thing. Our follow-through needs a little bit of work. Boy.
What would we have put in front of the door? We have nothing with us. The only way through is forward.
A rock? 2 rocks?
3?
Maybe. Oh, that would have been good, actually, yeah. I mean, wait. What do we do?
Keep moving forward. There is only one way to go.
The
I
lighthouse.
suppose.
Oh, maybe the tunnel will take us. It's the only way.
If this is not the lighthouse, it is our way out to the lighthouse.
Or to
All right.
danger. But we don't have a choice.
And once again, our Thursday's children venture forward into the dark. They venture forward into the unknown. And it's as we leave them beneath the earth, traversing tunnels towards something that they don't imagine anyone could have found before them, that we pull back up through the earth itself, and you feel yourself being dragged with it through stonework and bones and soil, and it comes back up into the mists surrounding the island proper. And it's as it does so that something moves slowly along the ground, directly on top of where our Thursday's children are walking, unhurried, unperturbed, and waiting that we will end our session for today and pick up our story once again next week. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for tonight's episode of Vaesen. This has been a wild ride for Dark Tide Rising Water episode 2, Sinking Feeling. I'm sure that feels a little too prescient now, but there we go. I have been Gabriel, your game master for the evening, and my pronouns are he, him. You can find me various places all around the internet at Good and Chaotic. I do stuff. It's kind of cool, usually very cursed. That's kind of my vibe. I don't know if you kind of got that from this whole thing we've been doing, but that's my viz, you know. Now, of course, I couldn't do this by myself because that would be completely bloody ludicrous. I have a fantastic cast with me today that have been bringing the fantastic characters that you have seen before you. So we will go around them one by one now, and they will get to tell you a little more about themselves. So, Maya, would you like to take the floor?
Sure can do. Hello, I'm Maya. Not so quiet, chaotic streamer filled with trash energy. Hi, Mizuki. Hello. I feel like that's enough.
Fair enough. Dagmar.
Well, my name is Zara Zodiac. I've been Dagmar today, who didn't die, which I'm very appreciative of. You can find me over on Twitch at Zara Zodiac, but pretty much anywhere else too under the same name. I stream video games, lots of Oblivion right now, but basically anything because I promised to play every single game that I own, which is a bad idea, but I have a lot of those. So yeah, this was Dagmar for you today.
We love her. Johan.
What's going on, guys? I'm Super Anthony, and we do a lot of variety stuff, and we love the anime and the weave stuff, and we go kind of hard. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. That's all I got for you.
And Astrid.
I am Dinsdale, and you can find me streaming all sorts of different games and generally having an educational, supportive environment, learning about things, mostly Armenian things, because that's how I roll, but sometimes other things as well.
Fabulous. Well, thanks, guys. You've all been amazing as per the usual. I love all your characters so much. I feel so bad for putting them through all this. Words are hard. Anyway, we have other things to do and stuff to do the thing with and people to thank, because lots of people have made this project come to life, and I am so incredibly grateful to every single one of them. We've got the incredible Lily, the GM, who is my co-writer, and just like eternal supporty hype person. She's amazing. Thank you so much, Lily. This couldn't have happened without you. Southpaw, our designer. Oh my god, the trailer at the beginning, all him. Just all the cool visual stuff you see, all him. And then Valen Vane, our glorious producer, he has been making sure this show goes ahead and looks as shiny and special as it is, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So don't let this fool you. I have no idea what's going on. So the team, the squad, it's great. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'm super, super excited to bring this story to you once again next week. But for now, I have been Gabriel. This has been Adventure Tavern, and thank you for coming. See you next time.